Why did you start HVAC Army?
Why did I start it? Family. Family is why I started it. I needed a family on that realm. I needed a family, and so I think that HVAC Army, it's just way more than what people are even thinking in general. So it's the idea of being able to build a camaraderie between us to be able to help boost our confidence while we're out there.
Hola, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable HVACR podcast. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed, like, comment, all that good stuff. If you guys are listening to this on the audio podcast, wherever you listen to it, please leave a review, get this show out to more people. And if you guys are watching and listening, I truly appreciate it. We would not be here without you. Now, on that point, the first sponsor of the podcast, my favorite CRM, Jobber. Now with Jobber, we can do professional invoicing and quoting, at its base, but it has so many more features. You can schedule, which we use for reoccurring maintenance. So every 6 months, this thing will remind the customer. There's so much more you can do to message customers, set up reminders, set up scheduling. You can do more with checking in and out. You have price lists. You have tons and tons of features. If you guys need help organizing your business and helping it run smoother, it's been night and day for us. We came from paper invoices. I looked at or into other softwares, and there's a lot of complaints on other ones, and one of the big ones is affordability. Now with Jobber, they have really great prices. I promise you, they have something for anybody starting and needs just the basics, and then as you grow, you can get into these much bigger plans, and it grows with your business. So if you guys are interested in looking more professional, being more organized, it helps me get these invoices and billing out much quicker. In turn, we get paid quicker. So if you guys are interested, I can get you a free trial and discount if you go to getjobber.com/reliable HVACR. And another sponsor of the channel now is VETO. VETO Pro Pack, hands down, my favorite tool bags. Now, you guys have seen me rock a whole bunch of VETO bags, and I have nothing but good things to say. If you ever have any issues with them, they do have a 5-year warranty, but the quality is there. You're going to hear me say that a lot about VETO Pro Pack, is the quality, the different kinds of bags, and the thought process that goes into each of these bags. Now that I've seen how they design them and the stuff they're thinking of putting out, all the new stuff that comes out, like they really want to cover every aspect or every need of any technician across many different skill trades. Whether you're a tech that carries a laptop, you need a lot of power tools or a lot of hand tools, like they have a bag for you. Just some of the best bags I've ever had, because I used to rip a lot of the other brands you see at the supply houses or that were there forever. And now VETO Pro Pack, second to none, never had an issue. Go check them out. All right, everybody. On today's episode, I am super honored, super thrilled to have this guy come on. He is Jarett, also known as HVAC Army. Yes, the HVAC Army. If you've been on Facebook or TikTok, you've probably seen him or his group. There is a Facebook group, and then on TikTok, it's a whole group of these members that just want to help. They've done giveaways. They've mentored other techs. They do a lot of good, and we get deep into conversation about all the helping, the community, all the great stuff that has come with social media. He's pretty big on TikTok, like I said. I'm also honored and stoked because this is his first podcast. So that's pretty cool that he, agreed to come on. I thought it'd be really cool. I did meet him in person for the first time in Chicago. We've talked a little bit here and there. Obviously, you know, like on TikTok, you know, supporting each other. I've seen him pop in on my chats on here in HVAC nights, and super good dude, super helpful, to the point. Like I said, we met in Chicago, and I was leaving the expo on Tuesday, which was my last day attending that, and I ran into him. He went along with me. We had a great conversation. And as you know, when that ended, it's a bum rush to the shuttle buses. So, like I said, not knowing him in person beforehand, the person that he is, he was like, "Hey, man, would you like a ride back to the hotel? I'll hook you up," you know. And forgot to remind him about that in the show, but he made me walk a few miles. He said it was close by. We walked a few miles in the cold to his truck, and you know, it's whatever. I had a great time. We had a lot of time to conversate during that walk. I appreciate the ride. I appreciate you being hospitable and helpful. So yeah, we talk about his journey, what he's been through, the importance of the community helping others versus how things used to be, and you know, just getting more people in the trades, and showing how great it is. So yeah, enjoy the show. All right, how are you, Jarett?
What up?
You're not wearing your glasses.
I'm not wearing my glasses. This lady right here, who made my the next rendition of my original logo, I gave her my glasses. So I'm actually waiting on Amazon to send me some more. You got them. What kind do you have?
I got Toro. I'm really into the Toro brand of sunglasses, and then I saw that they started making the yellow, I don't know what you call them, the HD glasses, and I was like, I got to get me one of those. Jarett has those. Are yours prescription or just safety glasses type of deal?
Just safety glasses, just for my that's all they are. They're actually I actually found those. Those are Dockers I bought like, I don't know, 8 years ago, and I've been wearing them ever since. I'm on my phone quite a bit, so like, not only is it for UV, but it's really just for my protection. But yeah, I've given
like
them
a little bit
years.
of like a little bit of a blue light protection, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's good for UV, but then obviously getting shards to the face, anything like that.
Hey, that's why, because like I said, I got into Toro. I forgot how I found them, but a lot of landscapers wear these like on their Instagram. You know, they promote different things, and then a lot of landscapers swear by them, like getting chips, going their way, rocks, all that, and that actually protected them. So I have a few pairs, not these yellow ones. These are the first ones I got, but just the sunglasses and stuff, and it's like they've actually lasted. So
yeah, like I said, I've actually given away most of mine. I can't tell you how many people I've seen them and they're like, dude, I want those glasses, and I was like, there you go. So Amazon's got my number, so they literally like they send me like 3 pairs every time, and I just hit the button. So, but yeah, no, I not that I've given away that many, but I mean at least 15 of my glasses have been given away. But
that's right. That's right.
Her, because I saw up in Aurora. So
I saw when you posted that she redid your logo, basically gave it a little uplift, and then I saw her wearing the sunglasses or the yellow glasses.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I gave her that, and I gave her one of the first renditions of the HVAC Army sweatshirt.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so like I literally have one more that I have that was from the first ring of them. I'm starting to redesign a little bit of it.
Okay.
But yeah, so I gave her one. It had a little bit of a. I think I had PVC glue on that. Maybe, I'm not sure. I was looking at.
It's a collectible, right?
Yeah, it is. Let me just take that one off. But yeah, that's her. That's the new rendition.
That looks awesome, dude.
Dude, it's more of a and it's funny because Tin Man.
Yes.
Tim was the one that started that whole thing. He talked to her. And
said
that, she's good at realistic, versus cartoon, and she she was like, I'm on board. She's like, I want to do this. But he was trying to keep it as a surprise, but he couldn't because I had to go pick it up, and
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it was, dude, I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. But yeah, it's definitely got my newer style because some of my OGs were a little bit bigger. So
Yeah. Funny thing is, I wear eyeglasses, so I have prescription glasses and all that. I actually, I wear contacts now, but I used to wear eyeglasses starting like in like middle school. And funny thing is, like I hated eyeglasses, right? So I always asked for like the tint. So I got blue glasses and then I got yellow ones, and I actually really enjoyed them. So for a long time in school, you would see me walking around with these blue or yellow glasses as my eyeglasses, and then I finally got contacts and got rid of them, and then here we are again. Yellow's cool again.
well, we there were blue blockers back in the day, dude. You remember like Dwayne Wayne, dude, with the flip lids, dude?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't have them with me, but somebody did that on Instagram, and they're like, "Can we make these cool again? The little flip ones." And I was like, "I'll do you one better. I just found some that are magnetic." So I posted my eyeglasses. I have a magnetic sunglass frame, I guess, and you just like throw them on there. I was like, "This is the new thing, right?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how you been, man? It's been a while since I've seen you, because I did get to see you in person, and that was really cool.
Yeah, no, that was great. I wish I could have had more time. It's been crazy, life in general. Just a lot of changes, a lot of cool things. I'm able to do a lot more now, more than I ever have been, as far as this goes. So like yeah, dude, it's been great, man. Blending families right now, and working on all of that. But I mean, I'd say in general, as hard as life is, I'm doing pretty good. So
That's awesome, man. And so you're from Chicago. I got to meet you in Chicago during the whole AHR Expo. Do you normally go to those, or just because it was in town?
that was in town, to be honest. I don't typically go to them. That's the first one I've ever been to. So,
Oh, okay. What'd you think of it?
oh, it was fantastic. I mean, like I said, it was great just being able to kind of loaf around and find some new technologies. I mean, in general, just seeing the culture behind HVAC build up so greatly. That's really what I've noticed. I noticed a lot of young people in there, just literally like
Yeah.
grasping it, just getting involved with it. There's more people than I could ever imagine. Uh, uh,
It's a crazy event. Like a lot of people go to these things,
yeah,
and like you said about the younger people, there's a lot of young guys out there. Oh, see, we can
this
edit
is
that out.
picky. So I really did love everything. There's just so many vendors, so many people that I've met in the industry. I've been in the industry for a long time, but I've been to other expos. But I've never seen something so grand and so well put together.
It was a lot
And
of fun, because like what I was telling people is, I like this time around, because that was my third one in a row, and I took my brother to the previous two. He gets super like in awe of all these things, right? Because you have a lot of equipment out there, stuff that we don't see, we don't work on, but it's like, whoa, he's out there like taking pictures and sending them to my dad and stuff, because we work with my dad. And he was amazed, right? He doesn't do social media, he doesn't see this, all that. But like this year, I went by myself, but I was more into like hanging out with the guys, and getting to see who I could talk to and hang out with. And funny enough, I think I was leaving, or I was about to leave, and then I saw you talking to somebody, and I'm like, holy crap, that's HVAC Army over there just chilling. So I'm glad that I got to run into you, because like I said, I was leaving, and I think that was my last day there, because I left on a Tuesday. I mean,
yeah,
I left on a Wednesday morning, but I was there Tuesday.
yes, yeah. No, it was great seeing people. I was kind of I guess in my life I really never knew what any of this would really become in general.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that my partner always said, like, so my partner now currently, back in the day before we went into partnership, he was owning a diesel mechanic shop, and I used to talk to him quite a bit about it. And I used to say, like, I'm like, I don't think you understand how attractive the HVAC realm is. Like, it is so much fun. There's so many
Yeah.
different aspects. It is like knowing all of it. So I used to make this comment to him all the time, just saying that, yeah, I could make HVAC sexy, because now this guy's working on hot rods. You know what I mean? He's working on planes. Like, these are sexy things. You know what I mean? I'm saying these are widely known as attractive. HVAC, people go down to your furnace or whatever it is that you're working on, and they're like, "Well, this looks nice." Well, I started doing that way back in the day, and I, I did so many things. My ideas in this industry are a little abstract, but there's just so much to do, and it's funny. And he told me too. He's like, "Oh, look at this! You started the HVAC Army and all this stuff," and he's like, you did. He's like, I remember you telling me this. Like, I remember you telling me this like 5-6 years ago about how you make HVAC sexy, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't know. He made the comment. I followed up with, I can, and he's like, well, you did. So he's like, so you did try to, and
It's a
and
cool, yeah, it's
so
a cool. I always tell people, it's a good industry to get into as far as like making money, going down different avenues as to if you want to do install service. Like, there's so many different things you can do, which is crazy in itself.
yes.
And then now, because I can kind of, get what you're saying, because I've always been of that idea of like making it or taking pride in my work,
That's
showing off.
exactly what I meant by sexy, by the way.
Yeah,
That, that
yeah,
wasn't that
that's
wasn't
why.
sexy as far as your person, your person. It was making that thing be like you walk downstairs and you got a hot rod. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this thing's gonna take care of you forever. It's stainless steel heat exchanger. That's what sexy meant in that realm, just by the way.
Yeah, and I totally get you, because like I came from that aspect too. Like, I want to take pride in my work. I want to make things look good, look clean, all that. I've always been about that. And then nobody, you never get like, or you don't always get the satisfaction from the customer or other people, right? So, like, I've heard bad things about Facebook. They clown on each other sometimes. It's some people are a little afraid to post their work, and I always tell them, just do it. Now
Yes,
there's
do it.
more. Now there's more good than bad, because like maybe it was like that a few years ago, but like we never get that on the daily,
Oh,
right? Like in the real world, like, oh, you did a good job, or this looks sick, or this looks awesome. Like, nobody else cares. So like when you take pride in your work, it was always for like you and your satisfaction. But now
it's
there's
for us.
TikTok. There's TikTok, there's
What I'm
Instagram, there's
I mean
yeah,
that. I mean that in a way that it's for us, like the organization and the confidence building behind all of TikTok and
yeah,
Instagram and YouTube and all of it. They're sitting there and literally, like, there's such a mass group of people now where we can have an outlet to be able to be like, bam. And damn well every job you're on, there's so many different there. I mean, I think that some of the newer generation will find that there's going to be a little bit easier retrofit than it was. But back, even when I first started, I mean, you're talking about not standardized heights. You're talking about all of this, like, very unpredictable realm and very creative realm, to be honest, in the HVAC world, because of how new it is in history. I mean, to be able to
yeah.
condition our places. But yeah, this is exactly what I'm. That's exactly what I'm saying. So yeah, that's it. That's it.
And it's a great community, whether you're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. They've all have their people, and it's a lot of like, and I saw it a lot at AHR, because everybody like showed up to hang out and do all that there, and it's a lot of like building up, like you said, confidence, all that. Like my my biggest thing now is like going and like praising other people, right? I'm like, damn, like I like that's a sweet install, that's great work, or like whatever, because that HVAC is an art in itself. Like you can I'm more of a service guy. I can fix shit and I take pride in that. But there's guys that do install, there's guys that do sheet metal, like there's all aspects of this thing. And social media has made it so cool to see everybody doing their own thing and then everybody taking pride. Like there's a lot of good content. And like I said earlier, like just post because we need more content. I love seeing that stuff. And you have your own thing going on there with HVAC Army over there on TikTok too.
Yeah, yeah.
Why did you start HVAC Army?
Why did I start it? Family. Family is why I started it. So there's a lot to know about me in general, but family family is how I started TikTok, and family is how I brought the HVAC world in my world to that realm, and I needed a family on that realm. I needed a family, and so I think that HVAC Army, it's it's just way more than what people are even thinking in general. The idea behind it was to so here I was let's see. So the R&R of my company,
Mhm.
R&R Climate, that the R&R is for my sons, and I'll say River and Riley.
Okay.
So anyways, I sat up on a rooftop unit. Now this is 2008 or so, and I remember being up there. I got called out in the middle of the night. It was 2:30 in the morning, and I got called out, and I had to go out there. Now this time I was helping teach over at ECC. I was a teacher's aide. Is all. I mean, I was helping in the labs. Got off there, and then got called out. Was up on a roof, and I fixed the equipment. By the way, that's not really the premise of the story, but either way, I got out there and got back home about 3:45, 4 o'clock or so. So it was a fairly easy fix. Got back, and then I had to get back up at 5 and go back to work. And so in that time, I got back, left, came back the next day, and there was a lot of stuff going on at the house. And it's hard because when you're building a home or you're building a family, it's hard for them to be able to appreciate what you do and when you're doing it. And yeah, we get paid, of course. At that time, I didn't because I was very new and I wanted to take anything I could on. So it's the idea of being able to build a camaraderie between us to be able to help boost our confidence while we're out there. I mean, we're out there in the nastiest of shit. I don't know if you're allowed to, if you don't really swear, but anyways, we're just in the nastiest shit, man. Like it's like,
Yeah.
and nobody really does understand it. And so I've always wanted to, and I wish I could have back then. And then TikTok came about, and my sons were dancing, and not my sons, but but I've seen people dancing on there and whatnot, and I was I hated it. Let's put it this way.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's put it this way. I hated TikTok. I
Yeah.
hated seeing the thing. I hated seeing it. I'm like, this is a garbage site. It's some sort of weird blah blah blah. And then one day I just was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. And so I did it. And it was everything that I always wanted to do. So it wasn't really built on HVAC in the beginning. It was built on family, and that's the thing that I wanted.
Okay.
I wanted to be able to put a positive realm out there with all the negative shit that's going on social media, and I built it off of the family, my life circumstances, and then I spun it into HVAC, and all of a sudden, bam, I was there, and I said, "All right, well." Then I can at least try to inspire the youth. I could help like make that was the idea. It wasn't about sitting in a schoolroom, right? Sitting in a schoolroom where you got a bunch of other hired techs, mass. You got you got your you got all the other certs, right, sitting above you, just speaking shit out of their mouth, essentially, just to try to whatever it was. It was just an ego boost. But what I realized in those meetings was that it was an ego boost. They needed the ego from the younger techs to be able to make themselves feel better. That didn't teach us anything while we were learning. It just gave them the ego boost, right? So now, if we're able to utilize this platform to try to gain some of that, because those guys that were sitting there that would talk out of turn and ask a question that they already knew the answer to, which, bro, I want to just, I'm like, shut up. Like the people aren't learning this if you're going to sit here and tell us your answer to your question. All they wanted was some validation. And that's it. They wanted validation. They wanted validation that they were doing something right. They have this platform of technician. You start young and it's young and skinny, and then you get up to this, big old fat guy that's, doing now you're just the brain of the operations, and you understand the systems and how to read the schematics. I don't want that. I want everybody to be able to see what we do out here. And I think at this time in our lives, this is the most imperative thing that we do, is that we show everybody and the youth what we do, and we inspire all of them to keep doing this, because you might not be a person that is supposed to be behind a chair or a desk, and that's one of me too. I mean, my truck is my office, so that's why I did it. That's why the HVAC is here. That's why the HVAC Army is here, is because of the fact that I wanted to feel the same way as those. I'm going to call you out, shitty technicians, the ones that, the dipshit old ones that sit there in the classroom and don't make it easy for us to learn. I want to be that, but I want to be that before I get to that place. I want to be there, and I'll be able to help as much as I possibly can. And my knowledge is far and wide, and that's it. So that's the HVAC Army. It's to build that, and that's why I did it. That's from my heart. So sorry.
No, that's good. That's good on you, man, because I've seen that movement too on Instagram, from communities like that. So there's TikTok, there's what you guys did over there too, and we need more of that, because you had your backstory there, and like I've been through some of that stuff too, like when you mentioned about, like, we don't get we do this daily, we're in the trenches, we're out there grinding, we're in the nastiest places. And sometimes we don't get a support system right at home. Like, that's important too, because if you don't have that, your mind goes to all these other places, and it's hard, right? And that's cool that you named the company after your kids. I was actually wondering where the R&R came from. That's really cool. I mean, family is very important. It's very significant to you, and I can see that it's a strong point. But support systems, we got to help each other too. That's another thing, right? Like, you want to help others, that's a good thing. Starting out on TikTok, doing the whole HVAC thing, there was nothing like that before. There was no, I mean, obviously there was no social media, but even in person, when you're trying to learn from somebody or be with guys at the job site, or you run into older techs, like, the way I always describe it is, everybody thought of everybody as competition. Nobody wanted to help, right? Right. There was a whole bunch of that going on when I started. Like, there was no, like, I'm going to show you this, I'm going to take the time to do this for you. And if you found somebody that did that, you those were your mentors. Those were the people that you try to stick with, or if you were lucky enough to find that. There was none of that before. Now there's the TikTok community, there's the Instagram community, and the YouTube community, and everybody wants to help. And that's a good movement. You were doing this, like, how long ago did you start your TikTok and then HVAC Army?
Well, as I see it, stamped and dated, because I'm horrible with times and dates, but apparently 4 years ago.
So that, like, right before the the
It
whole
was right there. It was right before the pandemic. Yeah.
right before everything went down.
Yeah. It's odd how it came into my vision at that point, but visionaries are great, but they need a lot of help. You know. Uh, and so for me, it was putting the footwork out there and doing what I thought was what I wanted to do, and I'll
it,
continue to do that no matter what. I mean, that's the deal, is that I
yeah, and I've talked to you about, you're still doing the HVAC Army stuff. You're trying to
oh
help
yeah,
other
no,
help others.
HVAC Army is not it's not done at all. Sometimes in the culinary art world, you gotta let things ferment, and you gotta let things build. And with this right now, this is not over. This is, I mean, you see how many people are up on the wall. This is definitely something that is going to continue. As a leader of that group, I would say that I could take a little bit of failure in that realm because of the fact that I had a lot going on, and I'd say that the only thing I can tell everybody is that anything great, anything awesome is worth waiting for. And that is what I'm doing in general. I can't put out bullshit content. I can't put out crap. I tried, and it's not good for me.
No,
I've
like,
tried, but it's
and
not
and
good.
I've been on TikTok for a while now, and I forgot, like, when you were talking about TikTok earlier, I thought the same exact thing. I hated this app. My girlfriend hated this app. We were like, what is this crap, and this and that. And then lo and behold, a couple years later, we're on here now, like, quite a bit often, right? And now I do content creation, but um, it's come a long way. And like you said, things take time and whatnot. The whole social media, I will say, as far as like what we do, we work a pretty hard trade. You have family that you're trying to get to, and then social media is like the other job that you have, right? Like, it's a
Yeah.
whole other thing that you're doing, and it takes up a
Mhm.
lot of time.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, families, just your life in general is a lot of time, and it's not something. What's up? You
hard to
say
get
hi?
away from Hard to get away from the kids, right?
Always. Right
My
there.
mine are the same way. I got two, and they're always like hanging out. Sometimes the little girl will pop out, and she wants to see what I'm doing. So I totally get that, man. Mine are 10 and 8.
Yes, I have a big ring of them. So I've
I
got
only
I've
got
got
two.
18, yeah, 18. So I've got 18, 16, and then now I guess 14, and then my son Jack, two youngest, 7, and then eight now. 8. Apologize, 8. Going to be 8. So. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm blending a family right now, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
yeah. So it's definitely it's always a challenge in general just to do that. So a year in realm of me trying to pull back and create more was difficult because of all of the things that I was trying to go through and try to mitigate some issues in my brain and with any kids and child trauma, like, because I've dealt with a lot of that in my life, like,
Okay.
and so I just didn't want any of that. So that took precedence over most anything else, was the family.
No, and I
um
get it, because family is first for me, right? Like, whether I'm doing content, work, like, I try to keep a boundary. Like, there's family time, there's dinner plans, there's weekends, all that is for family. Um, and it's hard to do that even with just HVAC, is like, because that takes a lot of time out of your day too. Like, you're
we do HVAC, we do installations, we do all of this, and then family, and then we're also trying to inspire the youth and trying to inspire everybody that we're around to try to get involved with it. But it is a lot as the ground floor goes. But as I see it, it's being a little sub-segregated, and there's help being applied on every level. Whether, you know, you talk to Jennifer and things like that about like some of the heat load counts and things like that. All right, good night. You going to bed? Are you going to bed? Okay. All right. Good night. She's gonna eat something. Girls are definitely different from boys, and I have 3 boys, so that are mine that I built. So
I have a son. Our daughter is 8, but she's not mine. So like per se, she's my girlfriend's daughter.
yeah.
So I'm new
It's a
to
weird
that.
thing to say, right? Okay, so you know what? Here, you know, you want to call it, you can whatever you want to do with this one, but like, it is different saying that out loud when you're just it's
Yeah.
you don't know if you're gonna upset somebody else. It's like, but like,
Yeah, because
but the
I've
deal
had
is that I
people.
feel like that are all mine.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. And I've had people ask me like, why are you saying daughter? Like, is that like explain? You know, like they don't understand. And I'm like, well, it's feel like she's my daughter, but she's my girlfriend's daughter. We're together now. You know,
Yeah.
it's just hard explaining it
It's
sometimes.
like
But
all these kids out here in the general, like when we're talking about like HVAC realm. I mean, we're talking about the same thing, like family, like kids or any of the youth. Like, I'd call you my family if you're trying to do something different than everybody else, and you're getting out there and you're working. And I feel the same way. Like I'm a big bear, man. That's why my nickname is Bear. So like I do, bear hugs are me. So like, dude, I come and give you a big hug no matter what, because that's all I care about, dude. Like I hate animosity. I hate all of the restrictions in life, to be just a human that loves and likes to work and likes to take care of their family. And that's pretty much what I am. And it's very difficult in this day to be able to do that. I mean, without without a lot of questions.
of course, yeah, I get it too. Okay, so the whole HVAC Army thing, when I ran into it, I mean, I didn't even understand what it was at first because I was new to all that stuff. But you guys are helping younger generations, like you said. You've done like giveaways. Have you done like, I think like tech support or something like that, like helping out kids or younger techs?
So we had some mentors in the beginning on Facebook when I started that up, and to be honest, a raw explanation is that I kind of got into it, read it, let it run, and there wasn't a lot of planning involved with it, besides the fact that we had our core group and we knew that we had knowledge across the United States to be able to help anybody that they could possibly help with. I mean, everybody that we picked and choose from the HVAC Army has a bit of insight. Now, whether or not you're a 2-year inside of here or a 3-year inside of the HVAC Army group, it was still that segue. So, like, if you weren't comfortable with this person that was so knowledgeable and you couldn't relate, then you could at least relate with this person where they're
Oh,
just entry level, and then segue your way up to somebody that's actually not more knowledgeable. If you weren't feeling comfortable, the whole
oh,
idea was to
okay.
try to make people feel comfortable in a place where they could just ask a question and not feel stupid.
Yeah,
Anything, like, just that's the whole idea, is that, like, ask a
that's a cool
question.
way to do it.
The giveaways was something that I started with a Milwaukee vibra tool. You know what I mean? So that one was great. That was I can't tell you how inspired I was after that giveaway. That was like, you know, I got done working with Grunt Style and making my shirts for R&R. Some of the cross branding stuff that I had thought about, you know, with my patch, and then the HA being step up from, a step up to replace the patch from Grunt Style. It was about just making a video on why you needed the tools. Really, that's what it was. It was a loose premise. I just did it. And so I bought the tool, and I put a nice little package there. And my idea was to be able to put who I thought were going to be the core members of the HVAC Army. It was just kind of a group that we had put together. It was very loose, but I had put all of all of their tags on the cover of that tool when I sent it to him. But he won it. It was basically just why you needed the tool, and he did a great job. And the cool story about that is that he he got the tool, he made the video, and the video made me cry, dude. Like, I was like sitting there, and like he's like, dude, he's like, this thing's pimping, dude. He's like, this thing's dope as hell. Like, he's looking at the shirt, dude. He's like, yeah. He's like, I was like, this is awesome, dude. Like,
yeah.
he gave me goosebumps, man. Helping it. And so he was so excited when he got it. Now, it took a while to get it to him because we don't have any logistics or any kind of planning involved. That I'm just doing it willy nilly. And so he got it, and then come to find out, a couple years, I think, well, actually, beginning of last year, I seen a video he had sent that he also messaged me, and he said that he went to the military, and then he's back from the military, and now he's still doing HVAC right now. So I haven't reached out to him in a while, but that was inspiring as hell to me. And I was like, all right, let's do another one. So I bought a VETO bag, the roll around with I bought the VETO bag, right? And I'm like, all right, well, let's fill this thing up. And during that time, I was like, let's do a giveaway again. Again, very unstructured, just very loose, very real is all it is, man. Like, I seen some inspiration through it, and then I kept going, and people just got involved, and people started adding tools, and people started and that's where it got me into that realm of my heart and passion again. It actually brought me back into some of my older stuff, and that's where I came up with like the heart of the bag, like having a tool. Like, if you're a contractor that was out there, that I know, if you've been in this industry long enough, you got a tool that you've had from either your grandfather, your dad, or something you picked up out of a garage sale that inspired you. Either way, it's a tool that you've had, and that tool was really important. If you could get off that tool, write your name on it, and send it there, I want to put that in the bag, because anybody that's starting in this industry, if they can't appreciate or love or respect the fact that this is a tool that's been used, and I have at least 4 different tools that I still will continue to give away as I see this thing grow again. But yeah, it was just wild, man. We filled that whole VETO bag up, and we sent that out, and we had another awesome winner, dude. I mean, I think he was down in Texas, that guy was, and then we did the pack out giveaway, and we filled that thing up.
I remember that one. That's the one that I had seen. That was crazy.
That was the 2022, which Adam still doesn't have his logo yet. These logos are built by Troy from Troy. He's up here over there.
Yeah, I was gonna say
so the blob in general was something that I had seen and wanted bad because I liked the blob.
I was gonna say shout out to Tin Man.
Shout out to Tin Man.
So he did all your Army logos there, right?
Yes.
Hand drawn.
Yes, he did. Yeah, so dude, like I literally seen this logo pop up on my TikTok feed, right? And you know how you got the little circle in the corner, right? So that circle is a hard thing to actually pay attention to. But as I was looking through it, I seen something that just popped, and I was like, bam! I'm like, I love that red, I love the white. Like, I noticed it. So I'm very my brain operates in such a way that like understands allure, I guess, attraction. So I'm like, bam! I'm like, I like the logo, I like the blob, bam! Let's go for it. And I called him and I said, Troy, make me my logo, dude. I said, make me the logo. I'm like, I want the bear. I'm like, because he knew that, and he made the bear, and so that's really what the beginning of the logo started with, was the blob, and then we kept going, and the blob signified the core members of the HVAC Army.
Yeah, everybody has their blob in their own colors.
Yeah.
Does everybody get to pick what goes on there as far as like the mascot or the person on there?
Yes.
Yeah, they were cool because
every person has their ideas, and this is why a lot of this stuff takes a lot of time, because Troy put a lot of time into it, thought, creation, and then he goes back and forth with each creator, and he goes back and forth and sees what they want. So he's really the one that's delegated that whole realm to figure out what characteristic they want. I mean, Sam's not making a lot of content right now, but she's been a part of the HVAC Army since the beginning. She's from the East Coast, so she's oil. Oil is something that I didn't realize the East Coast still worked with. Like I was so blown away, dude. Like I felt so small inside of my little bubble of things that I knew. When I got into TikTok,
that's how I feel.
realized this shit, dude. I'm like, man, this whole the United States is separated by the way the economy and the way that we receive goods too from
Yeah,
overseas. You know.
that's how I felt because I'm in Texas. I'm like, well, we don't see a lot of no heat. Like we don't even have, like I said, gas heating or anything like that. So that's what I like to watch on social media is guys that do other work
Yeah.
or guys or girls, right?
Yeah.
And install or sheet metal. We don't even have sheet metal here. It's all ductboard and boilers and like there's so much stuff that I've seen online where it's like it blows me away that depending on your region, there's a whole different definition to HVAC, right?
Yeah. Dude, it is. Like I said, like her, like I didn't realize that oil was there. And now there was a
Yeah.
guy that was there from the beginning, and he got out, and I don't know why exactly. I have a feeling, and there's a story behind him, and I've been trying to reach out to him as well. But Heat Guy was on TikTok, and he was one of the first among most that I talked to. It was actually, to be honest, the first two that I mean, besides Tin Man, was really Wojo up here and Wojo refrigeration, and then it was Wojo, Heat Guy, and Tin Man really were the first kind of three in that, and Sam. So these were the first ones that kind of I started reaching out to me. Got Lezak involved, and Lezak is my brother from another mother. Literally, that
I've
guy
had
grew up the same way as me, and we
okay.
have a whole thing we want to do together because of our lives and how close in proximity they were from birth to what we do now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man, like I haven't I kind of like stopped TikTok for a little bit because I couldn't figure out the content and I was interacting with a lot of the guys that you have up there on the wall. They're all cool. They're all super supportive. I've gotten to talk to a few of them, and I need to get back into it because I haven't talked to them in a while. But
yeah.
great people, and I was wondering who started out with you in that group.
My whole scope in general was to be able to inspire the youth in trades. So that's why a lot of my videos weren't based on education. It wasn't like educational, and that's the way that a lot of it wants me to go. Now, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that I can't because I will. But do I have enough time right now? Maybe possibly coming up here. But either way, the knowledge base of it is something that I can give no matter what. If somebody wants to sit here and abstract all of it out of my brain. But besides that point, it was literally just to get people inspired to be a part of the trades.
Well, when I first saw you, I
A
was like, this guy,
reality, yeah.
yeah, this guy knows how to do the whole TikTok style, I guess. Like real quick videos, straight to the point sometimes, because like the whole the generation now, the TikTok especially, has to be quick and not drawn out too much, fast paced. Maybe is a better word, but that's how it has to be, right? People don't have long attention spans anymore, and I think if you're in the trade, you're kind of like that to begin with. You're just always on the go. But I felt the same way because I was like, I'm not a teacher. I'm not going to do all this teaching with my content. Like you said, we probably could. I mean, there's like if you're in the trade and you've been in there for a while, there's a lot of knowledge that you can pass on for sure. But even with my stuff, I just wanted to show like the real stuff, like what is it like to really be out there in the field. And I don't have it too hard, but like this is what it's like for me and how I deal with things and all that. And just from that, I've gotten so many messages that people get inspired, like you said, and they want to get into the trade, and that's all good stuff. And that's what that's what I love about it.
Well, you inspired me, dude. I mean, I've seen your videos on TikTok, dude, and I seen the one. I think the first one that I ever seen was the one where you flicked it around your back. And you threw that back. That was a magnet, and you hooked it up there. I was like,
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was like, that was badass. I was like, I want one now.
I think oh man, one of them posted like, what's something that you have that you made or something. I can't remember the name. I can't get the name right now. I think it was one of the members, and I responded, oh, what's the one with the is it Thor?
Thor?
The logo?
We've got so up here. That's the HVAC guy,
No,
Trevor
the one
from
okay, the one
California.
on the bottom. Is that Lego or Thor?
This is Lego. It's Lego Thor, kind of. Yeah,
Okay.
that's Aiden. That's Aiden.
Aiden. I think Aiden's the one that posted something, and that was my response to that. And
She gave
then
away a vacuum pump on Father's Day.
oh,
I
okay.
think
Oh,
so.
yeah.
A
Okay.
year ago or so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, like I had seen her talk about like what's something that you know that you use at work or something like that unique. So then I responded with that magnet thing, and that's I kind of started posting more around that time as well.
Dude, I've seen them all, man. I mean, right now as it stands, this is just a cover for right now, but I plan on putting somebody else right here. We also have Adam Batson, who won the pack out giveaway.
That's cool.
But Adam's logo, and then also Jennifer and Val. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, we have quite a bit going on. I just, to be honest, dude, it's just been a hell of a year and a half for me, and so you could say that I would honorably and dishonorably take the fall of the of a little bit of disorganization over the past year and a half, and that is a little bit to take on me, and I'll take that as a burden. But we're not. Everybody's been waiting to get going again. And everybody understands too. Like I said,
Yeah.
we're a family, dude. That's the whole idea is that we're we're not being paid. We're not being paid millions of dollars to sit here and build content for people. We're just
No.
literally a bunch of people who had a friggin' idea. I had an idea, pulled them all in, and they're like, "Let's do this, Jarett. Let's fucking like, I love this, dude. Let's do it." And they all
Yeah, because a lot of times,
participated, and they've all been a part of it. And I can't wait to get, as I call it, the band back together again, because I'm a
yeah,
big Blues Brothers fan. But
that's awesome. And like a lot of times you don't ever get paid for the stuff that you put out or any of the content. Maybe you do get paid, and then not for everything. Like there's so much time and effort that
it's,
goes into this.
dude, it's so organic, man. I mean, we don't, nobody, I'm telling you on a level of where, you might want to clip this one out or you might want to keep this one in, but either way, the idea is that I just literally don't understand. I don't understand how it's all done. I didn't ever understand that. I know HVAC, and I knew how to film through TikTok because of the fact that I had a passion for the way and the style of TikTok. Like I at that time, I mean, it was very. I'm a mechanical brain, no matter what, so I can learn and understand the mechanics, and I can visualize some of the outward optics on it, but I can never, like, I don't understand how the monetization works. I don't understand how all of this stuff works. Don't really care, to be honest. I figure
Yeah.
the way I see it is that things will just kind of come the way they are. Like it's like Field of Dreams, man. I mean, dude, come on. You build it and they will come. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
that is what's in my heart, dude. That's what gives me goosebumps. That's the thing that gives me
That's
goosebumps.
that's been that's been my whole model too. Like I stay in my own. I do my own thing, and whatever comes, right. If you're doing good things will come to you,
That's right.
and that's what it's about, right? I mean,
Dude.
there's a way around. There's a way to get around and to get your content out there, and companies might come to you for certain things, but like a lot of us do it to help, or we enjoy doing this, and you honestly will never get paid for everything that you put into it.
Never. I've been paid tenfold by having a family up here. That's where I've been paid, to be honest. I know that if I reached out to any one of them, you can take my pride, and I wear everything on my sleeve, no matter what I am. I don't really care what people visualize me as, but to be honest, having that group of people behind me, it's the world feels less alone,
Yeah.
and it gives me inspiration to want to help inspire um, this industry. I mean, growth, building, working, getting out there, man. I mean, there's nothing better than getting done with a service call or getting done with an install that you got somebody that's sitting there that's like, my God, I'm so glad that you guys were here. I absolutely love what you did. You saved me through this. This is Christmas or it's whatever. It's just a day that they're cold. You're out there, and then if you get that reaction out of somebody, and they're paying you to do it then. So they're paying you to do this job then, and that's what they're paying you to do. And you are also getting gratification out of it. That is something that is it's there's no label, there's no amount of money that could put the words that I have to say in front of any of that, besides the fact that the goosebumps that run behind my back when I'm doing this or saying this out loud is something that has inspired me and moved me and fueled me, because money doesn't do that for me. Money really doesn't do that for me. Money makes the world go around, but money doesn't do that. It's the fuel that I get. It's the inspiration that I get to wake up every day. And that's really what I am. Like that's what fuels Jarett forever.
And that's a good way to put it, because that's kind of the same, or that's kind of along the lines of when I tell people everybody's success is different, right? Some people want all the money in the world, you know, working overtime all the time and kind of work themselves into that. Or others want, you know, you need the money to pay the bills. There's that. But then you want so much more out of it. The gratification of doing the work, fixing something, helping out people, and then being able to have your own free time, family time on your own, if you're, you know, doing it for yourself, a business. Yeah, if you're in the business for yourself, that helps too. But I've talked to so many people that's, and it's more so the residential guys that bring that up. It's like, you know, they love being the person that saves a day for somebody's cold night, hot summer day, whatever it is. And those are the calls that they remember the most. Those interactions with people, like, that makes them feel like on top of the world. And that's a great feeling. Even in commercial with myself, I get I get a lot of gratification of being able to fix something, right? You know, getting a kitchen going for a restaurant, a hospital, whatever it may be that we do on the commercial side, you know, being able to do that, be the person that does that.
Yeah, I mean, I did commercial. I did commercial most of my career before I went on my own, and I found gratification inside of having the maintenance guy there that was, you know, calling me up versus anybody else. He called my personal phone versus he called the actual company, and then I call my boss and be like, "Hey, you know what? I had Bob from, you know, Arm and Tool that sat there, and you know, he's like, can you help me out, Jarett? You know." And he called me because of the fact that he knew that he could get to me because I got a fucking heart and I hate it sometimes. So you know, so I'd be able to do that, but it's just it's in every realm. I mean, shit, you're stopping production on commercial realm. Shit, you could lose $500,000 in production if you're not out there to be able to save somebody. And that slows everything down. That slows all of it down. The end user, everything. So it starts everywhere. It starts in the way you wake up and what you care about when you wake up. You know what I mean? It's like it always gives me satisfaction. I've always been satisfied fixing anything, no matter who it's for, what I'm doing. It gives me gratification every day that I wake up that I can do it. And man, we've got a realm where we can actually try to get some of these kids in here too, you know, and get them there and get them feeling like they should feel, because sometimes you just won't feel that way. You know, there was, and I apologize if we're running on time. You shut me up. Sorry.
No, we're good.
But there was one comment that was made amongst a lot, but there was one girl, and forgive me if I'll look up her name because I've saved her video, but she made a video and tagged it in as far as the tool goes, but it was more or less just saying that I was trying to push to get rid of the stigma of women in trades, even youth in trades, even men in trades. It doesn't really matter. Men, women, all of it. It doesn't really matter. The stigma of, if you don't go to school with a college degree at that time, which we all know as of currently is definitely changing. But 4 years ago, it wasn't as big. It was starting in that cusp of something that I always really wanted to show, was that if you're not good at this, if it's not something you like, if it's not inspiring you, move and get rid of that stigma. If you don't go to college, then you're just going to fall back on a trade. That's not true. you actually should choose a trade over some of this stuff because it might just benefit you more than you could ever imagine. And this girl was going to nursing school, and she was just fighting it just to do it. You know, it was the only thing that made sense. Family, everything else, kids. She was in a very bad spot, and she said she watched a couple of videos as far as that goes, and she didn't even realize that trades were even open to her. And that was wild to me to understand. Like to understand 4 years ago that that was a thing, like that trades weren't open to her. She didn't even think about trades. And that pushed me, that projected the HVAC Army like past the universe we're in right now. Because when I heard that, I was blown away. I'm like, what? What do you mean? Of course you can. Now I didn't expect it, but she said it and she gave me the video and she was crying. And I'm not gonna lie, I got really teared up myself too. I was very inspired to keep going. And I listened to her story. And now, as of I think about a year ago, she had messaged back and said that she has now went into a full trade program. She's got all of her certifications. She's got everything. She was going to be a nurse, is what she was going for. She dropped out and then she went right into HVAC trade school, and with a good push too, and an understanding that she had people behind her. And I always told her even then that she could reach out. She hadn't. She did it all. She did everything, and she's there now. And she just wanted to say thank you. And I like again, man, my spine is running with goosebumps. The feelings that I get, the good ones, the dopamines.
That's awesome, dude. Because that's
it
what it's about when we do this content stuff, right? It's like that. Those are the stories. Those are the little victories, you know, when
yeah.
you can do that, because that's what I've told people. And I've had young people on this podcast, and that's kind of what I gear it towards, like, you know, friends of mine or people that are new. And, you know, that's what I always tell people is I didn't know about it either. And I even had a dad that was, he was an electrician and he got into food service industry and all that. Didn't even cross my mind for a good while, right? Like I should probably get into the trades. No, like college was always a thing, and getting a degree and this and that. And thankfully my parents kind of noticed that I wasn't going to be going to school for another like 4-6 years, whatever it is. I couldn't sit still. I liked working with my hands, you know, being outside and all that. Like I couldn't be behind a desk or anything. Even now I have trouble because I like service, because I like to go from location to location, running around. That's my thing. I would never be able to do what install guys do, and you know, or new construction, you know, being there all day. And that's what I love about this trade is like it can fit any personality, any type of work, you know, that you want to do. And I found the thing I love doing, which is service and running around to all these, you know, different locations. That's what I like to do. And I never knew about the trades growing up. That's the thing.
Okay. All right. So here, you want to hear how I got into it?
How did you get into the trades? Because that was my next question, and then we can kind of wrap up after that.
Yeah. So it was wild. So I was my past history, long story, but how I was doing it was I was 16 years old or so, and I was working at McCurdy Tool and Die. Okay. And I was sweeping floors. Got done doing that. They put me on some machines, right? And so I was starting to machine parts for Pazload, the Pazload cylinders, you know, for the air guns, for nail guns. And so I was starting to machine those. I was basically just a parts changer, essentially. You put a part in the lathe, you set the program, it runs it, and then you got to mic it and check, make sure that there's no porosity and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I was doing. I kind of found that was interesting for a while. They made you pick up on rate, and it became very monotonous, and I got very bored very quickly because I understood how to do it. Now, I could beat anybody's rate because I watched the setup guys that would come around on my machine, and they would input a couple of measurements, right? Plus or minus a couple thousandths, right? Based on what they were seeing on the mic. And so I learned that, and I started doing it myself. They got really upset with me on that. So I had to wait for a setup guy to come around, which was slowing down my rate, and that was pissing me off. And I said, all right, I'm done. So I stopped. So I didn't say I was done then, but I was during that process. It was like the last month of me working there, and I was looking up, and I looked up, and there was guys in a scissor lift, and they were running ventilation for the lathes, and man, they were having a fucking great time. And I'm like, I'm like, they're laughing and blah blah blah. And I'm looking up, and I'm like, man, that'd be fun. I'm like, that looks like more interesting than what I'm doing right now here. I'm like, this seems like bullshit. Like, just so happened to be that my grandfather worked for the city of Winnetka. He was always a hands-on guy, very intelligent. I mean, you want to talk about manuals and backup? I learned everything from my grandfather more than anybody else. Um, and he's got a long story in general, but he said, "Hey, kid, if you're ever going to do anything in the trades, do HVAC." He's like, "Don't be a
Oh,
carpenter." Now I tried that. So after I got done with that, I wasn't done. I wasn't done. So I tried the carpentry realm, and I wasn't a full on carpenter, right? I worked with my uncle who was a carpenter, but then I worked at W Coast where we were throwing up forms, and I was what's called a peak dog. And so I'd snap on these little plates, right, and I throw them through a machine that's a press that build the gable, the end wall. Like I build the trusses. We'd be able to send out, houses at that time on skids. So I did that. That sucked ass. That another whole story about that guy. A Marine was actually operating on that side. We had the best team there, but I remember just so much shit. Anyways, from there, I ended up meeting a guy, Chris Perkis, and that is a whole wild story in itself. But that guy did Perks Plus heating and cooling, and I didn't know anything about heating and cooling. I knew enough about working on vehicles, and I had basic knowledge of voltage, understanding voltage, no understanding of schematics or anything else.
okay.
And I started working with him, and I remember the first install I ever went on with him. I had no idea what even a furnace. I remember what's wild about this is that when I was like between the ages of 7 and 9, I was in the mechanical room in my house in Candlewick, like, and I remember sitting there doing laundry because we always had a billion chores to do. So I was doing laundry for my mom, and I remember looking over the furnace, right? And I look over the right, and it was a ream. And now I can only remember this because of now, but it was a ream. It had the two little plastic knobs. You pull it up, and then it's off, and it's got the grate on there. It was an 80% ream, and it
Okay.
had the tubular, it had the in-shot burners. And I just remember looking at it and like blowing on it, like like watching it like ripple across. I had no idea what I was doing. I have no idea why I even was that ballsy at that age, but my story might make sense at that point. But so as I sat there with Chris and went on the first job with him, he had been doing it for a while, and it was a Goodman. They were replacing it was a Janitrol for a Goodman, and I was sitting downstairs, and he said everybody's going kind of a little bit crazy. There's like 3 different people doing other stuff, and he's like, grab your tools and or grab my tools and go wire up the thermostat downstairs at the board. I'm like, all right. Went down there. I had no idea what the fuck I was looking at. I had no idea. I'm like looking at it. I'm like red R. I'm like W. Like this is like just very generic, but like that was like 19 years ago. So like I just remember sitting there. I remember feeling so uncomfortable, right? And then the next day later, I got it figured out with him. And then the next day later, we had to wire in a condenser, and I wired the disconnect incorrectly. And this was the first time I ever did it, and it was the last time I ever did it. But I took both pairs and put them on one side. You know what I'm saying? Versus segregating load and line.
Yeah.
And it was a mind fuck. Everybody was so upset. It was the end of the day. They're trying to start up. Like we're all just like about to chill, and everybody's like, "No, what the fuck?" Sorry for the language. It was a lot. So I sat there and I learned that one. I never did that one again. But that was originally how I started, and then I got into a Butch's refrigeration, and he taught me beer can cold. I learned all of the backyard stuff before I actually applied it to knowledge, and it was wild. It was like Swiss cheese, dude. Once I learned how to read schematics, once I just went to one class, I took one class for reading schematics, the whole world was done. You can't stop me now. Like you could never stop me. Once I understand how to read the map, I'm done. Like, and then I understand the laws of thermodynamics too. Like that's it, the concept behind it. So that was my first ever understanding it. It seems so Greek. So when I look at guys today and they're getting into it, I try to go back on those feelings, and it's very difficult if we're moving fast. But I try to apply that same thing, like, dude, it's okay, or chick, whatever, it's okay. You get it. Like, it's not gonna make sense now, but just do what I tell you to do, and then it will make sense. You got to apply. I think field knowledge is very important, and then you apply that to the books. At least get it there, and or having both. I think it's very difficult to get into any realm if you just jump straight into a trade school. I think it's really awesome, and it's very hard to find these days companies that will take you from ground up, and that's what I've done my whole R&R career. There's been 17 guys that I've trained from ground up, literally from one guy that came out of Bonzi. I'll leave it off with this, and there's a lot more to unpack, but essentially out of 17 guys, there was about 3 of them that really had that natural ability. And I'm not trying to deter people, but there is a natural ability you have in your brain to be able to perceive and I guess think a little bit outside the box. That's very generic, not very well put together, but essentially out of those 17, 3 of them had that natural ability. 6 of them actually had the ability to learn and grab it more, but there was an issue with externals. You know what I mean? So it's a challenge, but it's really great if you can get with a company that will teach you from ground up if you've got a good teacher. And as I've learned throughout my years of business and everything else, it becomes a little bit more difficult for the owner to be able to train you and give you the time that you need. Thus, as a kid growing up in the industry, as my sons are, be very difficult because at this point in time, I've already been through all of it. And this is the area of reflection that I've been in for the past year, was understanding how I could pull myself back into that thought process besides the business side of things. You know what I mean? Understanding how that training will be applied properly. And it's very difficult. It's not, as a business owner, it costs $70,000 to build a technician to where they're going to make you any money. 70 grand is what it costs you. I have the metrics. It costs you 70 grand to really build a guy that's going to actually produce for you and have it costs. And the reason why it costs that much is because of the fact that you want somebody that you build that doesn't have the bad habits that a lot of the bigger companies have. And so, yeah, I'll digress, and I apologize because I can't get on this. You got me started. So
it's fine, man. You brought up the whole natural ability stuff like that. It is a thing. It doesn't happen because me and my dad, and I don't want to discredit any of my other brothers, but me and my dad kind of think the same, kind of have the same mentality. We're able to solve problems pretty quick on the spot. All that. I have 2 brothers. My youngest does work with us, and he thinks a little differently, but it plays into his favor for what he does. He's more of our maintenance guy. He helps with change outs. He does other stuff, and sometimes he thinks of things that we don't think about. So it all works out. He's more meticulous, OCD type person. I'm not. My dad's not. We just want to get things done, right? And we'll do whatever it takes. We'll do whatever it takes to get it done. But I do have a middle brother who worked, and I've told this before to people watching. He tried it out for like a day and then quit. And he's like, nope, not for me. And good on him. He's more into photography. He has a good business a business position at where he's at. He's making really good money now. He's all good. But like there's certain, it takes a certain person to be in this trade and be, good at what you do. So, I mean, there is truth to that. And it's not to discourage anybody. It's just find your thing, find your niche in this trade, because there's so many different ways to be about being an HVAC.
I agree, 1,000,000%, man. I agree. My brother, it's wild because my brother is my younger brother, and I trained him from ground up, right? Whether we went through the thick and thin of everything from a bootstrap business that I started with a $500 van. And man, I've seen that guy jump out of a moving vehicle when we were fighting. We got into it so bad where we were in a parking lot and he gets out of the truck, because we couldn't handle it as family in general. But he has a natural ability, and it's wild to be able to see it now because he utilizes it. We don't work together right now. But he utilizes it, and I've seen his installs, and I look at his installs, I'm like, man, that's like me, like 15 years ago, dude. Like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, it's sexy as shit. Like, that's what I want to be able to give to the next world, because I don't know that I'd be able to continue that process and sustain life, but I would love to have. I get goosebumps when I walk on my brother's jobs. I look at it, I'm like, that is all me. And I'm not saying that as an egotistical thing. And my brother knows it too, because he gets the compliments from everybody else, and so I get it by just looking at it and seeing that's me. And that's something that I want to be able to provide.
Yeah, you pass it on. That's what it's about.
I want to pass it on, because a lot of the guys that I worked with that taught me a lot of things that I know that they're not around, and the businesses are not around. They couldn't scale it. They couldn't make it. They couldn't even, they barely gave the knowledge to anybody. And I was privy enough to understand some of that and get it from some of my elders. And I have my own self-integrity and my own self-respect. And that's it, dude. Like, man, I guess that I get goosebumps around that. And that's where I'd like to be able to kind of move into some of this stuff, giving that same inspiration to everybody else, because I do care about it. So
no, I can tell, man, and that's awesome. I hope you continue that and everything goes well for you. We are over an hour. This is around the time that I like to close out the show. I enjoyed talking to you, and I enjoyed hanging out with you in Chicago for a little bit. I appreciate the ride and everything over there. That was awesome.
Yeah, dude. Well, when you guys come out during better weather, I will show you Chicago a little bit better. We'll go Bucktown. We'll go North Side. We'll explore Chicago the way it's supposed to be explored. You can get it almost done in probably about 3 days tops. You've seen it. I was a
little bummed out, but I was like, I'm not going to be hanging out in this weather too much. So when I do want to go back during like good weather, and definitely hit you up, and it'd be fun, man. I appreciate you for taking the time to do the show tonight. Thank you for being on, man.
I appreciate you, Adrian, man. You're awesome, dude, and I love everything you're doing, dude. Like you, like I said, you inspire me too. Like I'm inspired by everybody, man. I love you, and I appreciate you fucking doing everything that you're doing, man. And thanks for having me on. So cheers to you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So everybody watching, listening, I appreciate everybody for coming out, watching the show, and I'll see you guys next time.
All right, man. Cheers.